Digestion. So we're trying to figure out how do you connect digestion problems to chiropractic. Very easy to do if you know what you're talking about and you know the moving pieces and parts and the fundamentals. So starting off with a question that everybody in this room should be able to answer: can spinal subluxation cause digestion problems? That's what we want to be able to answer by the end of this short discussion. When you're asking that question, the first question that should come to mind, doing this properly, is what are the two major influences of the digestive system? I said major. I'm not talking about like little things like the supplement or this diet program that somebody's speaking about or I saw on Oprah. I'm talking about major. And we define major by their level of impact if you took something away from the body. So people eat differently all day long. You can eat bad for a week. You'll still survive. You'll still be alive. You can eat bad for a decade and you'll still be alive or survive. You may not thrive, but you'll be alive. But if you were to yank out or completely halt circulation to the digestive system, how long are you going to be able to still walk around on the planet? Not very long. If you were to yank out or halt nervous system activity to the components of the digestive system, how long would you be around? That's how I define major. I would suggest that most people are skipping over this completely and focusing on the minors, the little elements. In a sense, they're majoring in the minors when they're missing the majors. So this is what we actually want to talk about: is how does neurology and circulation affect digestion, and where does chiropractic come into play on that? We call them circuit breakers, right? That's one of our things in our office. The spinal column is like the circuit breaker, like in the house. The brain sends signals, information, electricity down the spinal column, but down the brainstem, spinal cord, out through the nerves. All pieces and parts get supplied, right? So a circuit breaker for the small intestine would typically be the most amount of fibers, the most amount of neurology coming out of the spine is typically localized down to around T10 as far as how it's going to affect the small intestine. So that's what we're bringing patients' attention to. And then as far as large intestine, it kind of changes. L1. It's a little more complicated than this. Let's just run with the simple stuff because our scientists still haven't figured out exactly how this all works. We're still kind of infants in this stage, but at least we know there's something there. So when you get in debates with people, it's not about do we know everything yet. I'm not really concerned about do we know it all yet. That doesn't mean you can't start benefiting from it now, the concept, right? So these are some of the spots that we would want to check first and foremost on somebody that has digestion issues. The circuit breakers. The stomach obviously is involved in digestion. That's typically given a T5. Right? This is just the basic simple stuff. This is the fun stuff. This is the cool stuff. This is the big picture stuff that you guys maybe have never been taught. Maybe you learned it in school, but you need to learn it really well. The nervous system. So just a real quick recap, right? The nervous system breaks down into parts. Central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Brain, spinal cord, kind of everything else. Got it? Peripheral system breaks down into autonomic system, somatic system. Somatic system is kind of like movement, muscles. That's voluntary stuff, actions controlled by neurology. Autonomic, involuntary stuff, how your organs and glands work without you having to think about it. Autonomic system breaks down into two important parts, and this is what we really want to talk about: sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. So we're not going to talk about how this stuff affects heart and breathing. We're just going to talk about digestion. So sympathetic nervous system, what you should learn is that's your fight or flight system, right? That's your get up and go. Okay? This is your rest and digest, relax, slow down, calm down, parasympathetic nervous system. So there's supposed to be a fine balance between these two in terms of how they work. If one is outrageously out of control, or worst case scenario, both are outrageously unregulated or out of control, you're in trouble. Digestion problems is probably just a small part of the situation. Whether you're even cognizant of it or not, whether you have symptoms or not, is irrelevant. And whether you're even cognizant of it or not, whether you have symptoms or not, is irrelevant. These things are huge, huge key players in how your body ages and how you digest food. Also, look at it this way. This is kind of like the gas pedal. The parasympathetic nervous system is like the brake. So you never want to have your car with the gas pedal stuck. Danger, danger. Or with the brake stuck. You can't use it. Does that make sense? So your brain, your body should always be able to apply the gas, apply the brake on an as-needed basis. The sympathetic nervous system is usually chunked out here. Again, it's more complicated than this, but if you just say the midsection of the spine, the thoracic spine, is largely connected to the sympathetic nervous system, it's pretty good. It's more than most people know. The parasympathetic nervous system, the brake, the rest and relax, calm down, is the top and the bottom. That's kind of how things are wired. Again, it's a lot more complicated than that. That's the basic explanation. So if people were to have subluxations, misalignments of the spine, causing nerve interference, causing symptoms, right? Would it affect the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system? The answer is yes. Could it happen without you be aware or conscious of it, or symptoms? Yes. Now, relative to digestion, this thing, when it gets engaged, when your fight or flight mode happens, when you're stressed out, or you have a subluxation that's stressing your neurology out, your digestion is suspended. That's what I mean when you're having to run away from like an attacker. Digestion is like the least of the priorities. Does that make sense? So your nervous system actually shunts blood or stops blood flow to your digestive system. Slows the digestive system down, moves the blood out to the heart and lungs and muscles so you can run away. So imagine a situation where somebody, again, has some sort of weird issue going on here that's got their gas pedal stuck and their sympathetic nervous system is in constant overdrive all day long every day and they don't even know it. Could they have massive long-term chronic digestion issues because of their spine? Yes, that's how we're wired. That's neurology. Yes, that's how we're wired. That's neurology. Now let's say something's going on here and their parasympathetic nervous system cannot get engaged, meaning they can't apply the brake. So they have a subluxation neck or mid-back. So it could go either way, where this is overactive, underactive, or a combination thereof. And most people aren't aware of this. So long story short, it's really complicated, but if you just say spine influences neurology, which influences digestion, I would therefore want to have a more normal, healthier, better aligned, more freely movable spine. For the sake of having better neurology, better access to my gas brake pedal, better digestion. Does that make sense? If subluxation exists, a true physical phenomenon of the spine that affects the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, would it be wise as first course of action to throw medication or surgery at the problem? Right? Why not actually remove the true root cause of the condition, see what happens first, and then maybe consider that. But that's not what we do in our society. We automatically go right to this. Now, this is basic textbook knowledge when you connect the dots properly. All doctors have to know this stuff, but everybody has a different level of critical thinking as a doctor or therapist or provider. So when you apply that kind of a knowledge, you start to wonder, why do we just do this with everybody? Why aren't we at least thinking neurology, circuit breakers, etc.? Same with nutrition and supplements. People are way overvaluing this stuff. It has its own place. I'm a huge, huge fan of nutrition and supplements. You guys know that. But I'm a bigger fan of having a subluxation-free nervous system that can run and control my autonomic system, including my heart and digestion, et cetera, et cetera. Then I stack nutrition and supplements on top of that, right? So for instance, sympathetic nervous system has a glitch, a subluxation, sympathetic nervous system is stuck in overdrive, and I have digestion problems, and I'm spending lots of money on good organic food and supplements, and I'm wondering why it's not working. Why is my condition not self-resolving? Why is my body not healing? Duh. Fix the neurology. When the neurology to the digestive system is optimized, whatever you dump on top of it via nutrition or supplements actually gets absorbed and utilized properly. That's how the body works. So the question is, could subluxation be an undiagnosed cause of digestion problems? Most likely, yeah. Everybody should get checked by a chiropractor. Simple as that.